Honest J. Nowak. Coming at you live. Alright. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and here we are again with some more Honest J. Nowak. And nowadays, let's get on going with some more stuff around here. I tell you, perseverance. The fact I talked about that yesterday. But nowadays, I now have a bit more confidence, and I'm hoping to get through the rest of this year, hopefully while keeping my sanity intact, and way too many other things right here. But let's try to avoid that stuff for right now, because you never know. I could get age restricted or community guidelines striked of any sorts. Because let's go on to number 772 with tournament fighters. I could talk all day about the kinds of video games out there that are labeled as tournament fighters. Street Fighter, Power Rangers, Battle for the Grid, Dragon Ball Z, Budokai especially, on the PS2 of course, Mortal Kombat, and of course there was the Ninja Turtles tournament fighter, Full House tournament fighter, and then let's not forget the travesty in '95 that of course was Star Wars Masters of Terras on the PS1. That also was a tournament fighter. But that, of course, was one of many examples that had happened way back in the day that was pretty flipping awful. Like, there was really a lot of things wrong with it. And, of course, I could talk a lot about that, but there's already such a thing as an Angry Video Game Nerd episode on that. So, please go check that out if you need to learn more about that. But, you know what? Tournament fighter video games are, in fact, as simple as, well, fighting different opponents one-on-one. And these opponents can, in fact, vary in difficulty. There have been times where sometimes difficulty gets messed up, sometimes they get too hard too quickly. Oh, man. That was not very good. Ooh, acids. Well, anyways, as I was saying, sometimes difficulty tends to ramp up too quickly, or maybe it does not even ramp up at all and becomes too easy. That tends to be a bit of a malfunction in certain games, or dysfunction, I could probably say, to some games as well. Again, be sure to check out Angry Video Game Nerd if you need to. Well, I might as well just end it right here because of that. So you know what? I'm not really going to go much further on that one, but at least I've had the chance to talk about tournament fighters as they are. The fact that they're a pretty big series of video games that have been around since the 90s for the most part, even though, well, there have been some examples way further back then that have tried to utilize this, but this was, of course, a time before it was perfected. By the mid-90s, it was very, very huge, with franchises like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat taking place, and with other tournament fighters occasionally taking place as well. Of course, with today's technology, though, I tell you, there were certainly a lot of tournament fighter-based fighting games that I've played on the PS4. I played Street Fighter V, Mortal Kombat 9, 10, 11, well, 10 is usually called X for the most part, and I've even played Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. So, of all tournament fighters though, I'd really have to say that Power Rangers Battle for the Grid might just be the best one yet. It is just amazing when you look at it. Graphics are really right there, and it certainly feels a lot like what the shows. After all, Battle for the Grid is pretty much a combination of all the different Power Rangers lores that have taken place. All the different lores that have happened, and therefore you really get a huge, huge mashup of different characters. It's like one of those gigantic crossovers that had taken place. But the truth is that, well, a lot of things could basically take place. And you never know, maybe here with the PS5, Xbox Scarlet, and even some other consoles that have been slated for release soon enough, we might be seeing more like those at some point in time. But until that happens, we're just going to wait around. We got plenty of other game varieties taking place, and maybe I'll talk about some of the others out there at some point. I might even have a huge crossover dedicated to video games as a whole, especially ones that I've played. Yeah, an idea like that seems to come to mind, so you know what? Maybe expect something like that to happen in the future. But until then, if you want to see more go down on my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.